It's the holiday season, and it's another Dave Day here on SSP TV with Dave Seaman, Standard Speaker Sports Editor, and our beautiful new background. Dave, I'm pointing all this out because after the Penn State game on Saturday, I did watch Notre Dame on my computer, but on our TV, I was watching Mary Poppins. I never saw it before, so nice little holiday with the wife. But you said, paying attention to that Notre Dame game, they did what had to be done in that game, made some adjustments, and they finished 12-0.
Yeah, that's a story that they followed the same story all year. I mean, the defense was strong, gave up a lot of yardage, a lot of completions in the first half, made some adjustments at halftime, and really shut down USC in the second half. The Trojans didn't get their last touchdown until about a minute left in the game. Offensively, Notre Dame caught up a little bit. They were able to slow the game down and play the game at their pace in the second half.
So the question is, Dave, if all the pieces fall into place like many think they will this weekend, and that means Oklahoma beats Texas, Ohio State beats Northwestern in conference championship games, and Alabama beats Georgia, I have Oklahoma in over Ohio State. If all that happens, do you think Oklahoma gets in over Ohio State?
I do if you're going that route, because Oklahoma, they lost a close game to Texas, would be their only loss this season. They're coming off a win over West Virginia in a real close game at West Virginia, not an easy place to play. People might gripe a little bit about their defense, but you gripe about the Buckeyes' defense as well. Like you said, it didn't really come to the fore until the game against Michigan. But both teams have explosive offenses, and you can nitpick all you want between those last four spots. I'm just anxious to see what happens if Georgia beats Alabama. Then both of those teams will be out, because Georgia will slip into the 4 spot or the 3 spot. Alabama's not going to be dropping out of the top 4 unless it's a real blowout loss to Georgia. A loss by Alabama to Georgia could happen. I mean, Georgia's proved last year in the championship game they were one play away from winning the national championship. So Alabama knows what Georgia has. I think Alabama will come to play this week. So will Georgia. But that's last team, the 4th place team. It looks like it's going to be Oklahoma to me.
Dave, Penn State finishes 9-3. It's what we expected, but how do you feel at the end of Penn State season?
I think they accomplished what we thought they'd accomplish. A 9-3 season. Yeah, could it have been better? Sure, but maybe a couple of those other wins that they had could have been losses. The game against Iowa was a close game. Other games were close throughout the season. They didn't beat Michigan State or Ohio State again this season, and Nittany Lion fans will say, yeah, we should have won those games, but no, you didn't win them, so you go back to the drawing board. And to their credit, after the Michigan loss, I think the defense really asserted itself. Some of the younger guys, took their lumps early in the season, and they continued to play well. Last part of the season, not many defenses were playing better than Penn State's, and like I said, a lot of those pieces are coming back next year. They got experience playing together, and chemistry is a big thing in football. We've talked about that for a long time. That you get those pieces in place. But they got to play together and play with a purpose and urgency. After the Michigan games, it appears Penn State's done that, and they're setting themselves up for a New Year's Day Bowl.
Well, Dave, you got to talk with Joe Madden recently. Joe Namath will be coming to town in the month of December.
A lot of people forget that Joe Namath is from Pennsylvania. He's a native Pennsylvanian, and that's when Joe Madden said is that Namath is just a regular Joe as well. I mean, he's a Pennsylvania guy who understands the values of growing up in a small town, and never lost his work ethic. Yeah, he lost. When he went to the NFL, it was a lot of the braggart came out in him, and the confidence. And and Joe says it's not really the cockiness; it's more the confidence that you put the work in, and you're going to go excel when you get on the big stage. And that's what Joe Namath did way back in Super Bowl III. He guaranteed a victory for his Jets against the Colts, and again, that put the Super Bowl and maybe the NFL as we know it on the map.
So Dave had an article on that recently, and then Steve Stallone, I think on Thanksgiving Day, what an article he had. I was surprised. I came back into work, I read it. Lauren Pataki, playing at Penn State Hazleton, now played at the Hazleton Area High School, suffered 2 ACL injuries, both her knees, and Dave, it's her last season playing at Penn State Hazleton. She didn't have to play this year. She could have just went off to University Park, chose to play. She loves the sport. I thought Steve did a great job, and Lauren, wow, what a career.
Well, fantastic job, and it's an inspiration to anybody who's a younger player maybe who might have had some setback in their life, to say, hey, wait a minute, I have an opportunity to do something to prove to myself that I can do this, not necessarily to any other people, but to prove to yourself that you can do something. And that bodes well for a future, because once you get in life too, there's going to be a time when you're knocked down. We've all been on that path before where things don't go our way, but Lauren showed that, hey, what if you get knocked down? You get back up and you see what you can do. You make the best of it, and she certainly has. And I'm anxious to see how the rest of her season plays out. Again, it's only one season, but she's going to give it all, and I know their family very well, and I know they're very supportive, and it's a very neat thing to see.
And Dave, finally, all week long in the Standard Speaker, your winter sports previews. It started with MMI basketball all week long this week and next week. Well, Dave, I've had Chimney or whatever that song is in my head all day, opening with Mary Poppins. Do you have a favorite Mary Poppins?
Very Mary Poppins. I watched the preview to the new movie
Oh,
too.
yeah,
That's going to be
it's
fun
coming
too.
out.
Yeah, with Lin-Manuel Miranda and Emily Blunt. It's exciting because I know my family and we've watched Mary Poppins a lot, and it's one of our favorite movies. And if you're a Disney fan, I'm sure it's going to be exciting.
All right, maybe we'll get another movie review from Dave. He talked about Bohemian Rhapsody earlier on Dave Day. Thank you, Dave. I know you're doing a lot of work right now. We appreciate your time.